We are live. Hey, everybody. I have with me my great friend, Lana Gajic, who is a psychologist and health coach specialized on helping people thrive after divorce. And she's also a best-selling author. So, hey, Lana, how are you?
Hi, thanks so much for having me, Andrew. I appreciate this.
Oh, it's like, I had a meeting with you earlier, and you enlightened me with so much information. But one thing that we discussed earlier was about now with COVID-19, there are two kinds of couples that we're seeing, right? We're seeing these that are thriving and they're growing together, and they're gelling and
Yeah.
And their love deepens. But then you have those that argue, and some even break apart.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's very true.
And I wouldn't know anybody I would consult with if I were in that situation than you, because you're the best-selling author of a book called Breakup to Breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's right.
So tell me about the book real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's growth that happens, the demands of our lives or of our businesses. They are such that we cannot help but change over time. And that change, if we're not actually growing in our personal relationship at the same time, that's what's going to happen. So if you're not tracking your marriage in the same way you're tracking your business, like quarterly, okay, I'm going to kind of go off a little bit and just joke around a little bit, but quarterly, how many dates did we go on? How many times were we intimate? How many times did I say to my wife or husband or common law, you're wonderful. I'm just so happy to be with you. But we do that. We look at our numbers for our businesses, don't we? And so if we're not, because we're growing, period. Now, that growth may not be apparent to our partner because we're not sharing and they're not seeing. So all of a sudden, what happens to people who are professionals, and often it's two professionals at the same time or two entrepreneurs at the same time. So they're growing and they're so busy in their own pockets of their own world. They come together, they look at each other and go, who are you? Like, I don't even know who you are after a while. So this is years in the making, of course. And then they look and they go, who am I? Like, I'm a different person too. And so these are the things that if you don't work together and you haven't been, these are the things that break you apart. People change and you learn and you grow. And I think the older we get, the more spiritual people become.
Yes, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. And there wasn't room for that before because maybe you were in the building stage of your business. Maybe you were in the building stage of developing a solid income or building a family. And now things shift. So 10 years, in your 30s is usually when it happens. Like I said, that first shift is 7 to 10 year mark. And so you're catching people in the 30s. And I think in our previous conversation, you said the same thing to me. You're coaching 30-year-olds and then you're coaching, I think you said 50 or 60-year-olds.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Which is totally coinciding with the divorce, right? So people tend to focus more on work after they've gone through a separation or divorce, and which is a good thing. But also, if you're neglecting your personal life, your work will be impacted too. So the duality of it is work and personal life are going to function anyways. Now, we know to be balanced, you have to be able to obviously deal with what's going on. But so can some of these marriages be prevented from breakdowns? My answer to that is yes and no, truly. If you aren't working as a pair, as a couple, together, you don't have a chance. You really don't. If one person is working on it and the other is busy doing their career thing, it's not going to work either, right? And the three patterns of relationships that don't end up working are the following. One is where you have this push-pull. So the more one person pushes, like, come on, let's talk about this. Let's work it out. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's go to marriage counseling. The more the other pulls away. The more they pull away, the more the other person pushes. So you have this cat and mouse kind of a situation. Constantly, one is chasing, the other one's running away. So that's a pattern that often does not work in the long run. And that's the pattern I actually see predominant with a lot of people, that one. And then there's the two pushers. So people both are fighters, right? They want to fix the relationship. That's really what's underneath it. But how it happens is they develop these patterns of communication where they're aggressive with each other, or they might get critical or blaming. And it's the anxiety that they feel about the disconnection that's leading to these behaviors, not because they hate the other person. You see what I mean? But of course, nobody likes to be criticized or blamed. And so it doesn't feel very good. So this is another pattern that ends up in the long run not working out without.
And the advice that I give in that moment is to my clients is you've got to stay away from any kind of judgment, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you can describe the last observable behavior, right? Because you're like yesterday you came and you didn't say hello, that's observable. But saying, or you went to bed and left your socks out, right? So that is observable behavior. But saying you don't respect me because if you did, you would put the socks in the hamper, right?
Yes.
That is judgment. And
yeah,
so absolutely. So if you want to salvage your relationship, you've got to take all the judgment out for sure.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And what's
that? The other thing is I want to ask that real quick, because you said like they're pushing each other, right?
Yeah.
So I see with like men meet somebody and they're like, I never want her to change ever. Right? And then women find the guy and they're like, I'm going to change him.
They're doing like a taking notes, right? Like these are things I'm going to keep.
So, but that doesn't work either, you know?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. And what I would say to that, Andrew, and you make a really good point, is when in our younger years, we are so impacted by society and what other people have wanted for us or what is expected of us. We've internalized that so deeply, we don't have our own voice. And so here we are then finding ourselves in marriages that we're not prepared to have. And we're going, wait a minute, this isn't this, or it's not fitting that. And so we end up actually finding partners that aren't suiting our true selves in the end. That's what happens. And but you can speak to this as well with the second partner. It's like you're not looking at it how you were looking at it with the first partner. You have grown. You know who you are. You feel good about yourself. You love yourself. You're confident with who you are. You know where you want to be in life and where you're headed. And that's the person that comes out to court your wife. Well, now wife. That's the person who comes out, right? So it's a very different person than who you were when you first dated your first wife, right? Because it's like,
I have to say, in all honesty, my wife is the wiser person in this relationship. And because I got older, I've also learned that women are often right, you know, so I just learned to listen, you know.
Yeah, I think that's key, actually. Listening. Any marriage is listening. And oftentimes women, because we've kind of been used to being in relationships, like we're just kind of groomed to listen and to be in connection with people. So it's naturally, we like to talk and we like to listen, we like to be. And so men that can sort of meet that challenge often have a greater pool to select from when it comes to like successful marriages. Which is amazing. I think it's amazing because what you're saying is I've grown. You know, between my first and second marriage, I did some growing and learning, and I decided to treat it like a business, essentially, right? Not to sort of decrease the importance of a marriage and to compare it so deeply to a business, but there's so many similarities, right? Is you treat your business like your baby or like a partner. Or if you have a business partner, it's literally like your second like husband or wife, right? So it's like, it is that important. The success of both is important in life. Yes. So how do you do that, right? That's the question.
And your book is all about once I went through the divorce, you know, how do I break through, right? So,
yes, exactly.
And we are almost at the end here of our time. So I could talk to you about it for like another hour, right? Because you are so full of great advice, and you shared like those biohacks. That was amazing.
Yeah.
So if any viewer here right now is in a situation where, you are, literally locked in with the other person that you rather not want to live with anymore, or you just broke up and you're alone at home, and it's also hard now when you're alone, because now you don't have that network of friends that you can hang out with and get the social support that you need.
Yeah.
How can they get in touch with you? How do you help, and how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have a program that takes them through basically the entire book. Now, what I find, especially with professionals, is it's great to have the book, and a lot of people will download the book. But the thing that's hard is, how do I keep myself on track and focused and doing this? And that's what I can do. And so the way they can reach me is go to healmybreakup.com. And on there, they can download the book and start with that. There is a place, if they're happy with the book, they can absolutely book a one-on-one. It's a free consultation. I admit there's only a certain amount of spots available, and I do give it to the people that are most ready to go. My program is such that I guarantee results. And for me to be able to do that, I select the people that I'm going to be admitting to the program, simply because I devote all my time, attention to making sure that success happens. And I need people to obviously do the same, to prioritize it in the same way.
I made the mistake in the beginning when I started out. So I can have everybody kind of thing, no, but you're right. I've learned that the hard way myself. You need to be at a level of readiness, right?
Exactly. That's it. And in psychology, that's the thing I've learned. There are stages that people are at in terms of readiness. This is researched. It's science. So I'm using science to go, the people that want the help, let's give them that help. Let's give them the right tools of success so they get from A, which is emotional dysregulation. I feel so much grief, anger, anxiety, panic, even about what the heck am I going to do now? Am I ever going to, like, a lot of uncertainty? Am I going to meet someone? Because oftentimes people in their 30s, that's kind of what the big thing is. Am I going to meet someone if they haven't had children, right? They're going to wonder about that.
When I got divorced, I was 39, and I'm like, who wants an old guy, right? So
right, exactly.
And is divorced, and comes with baggage, and
That's
so
right.
I was in panic mode, so I totally get that.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to say that also with regard to your services, is there is no online course that can help you. Yes, there's a book that can inspire you and give you some tools, but at the end of the day, you need a warm-bodied coach, right? Who can listen to you, who can sort your thoughts out, who can give you more perspective, who can lead you, give you strategies, tools, the way you need it, where you are with what you have right now. A book, again, is the first step. Online courses for sure is not going to help you. So, and I wish more people would go and seek help.
I do too. And you know why, Andrew? Divorce rates skyrocket for second marriages. It is now, so from about 40 to 50%, depending on where you look, for first marriages, it is about 65 for second and 75% for third marriages. So it is pivotal that you do this. You do not want to do this heartache more than once if you can help it.
And earlier, right? So not like, it's the same with me. Like, people come when it's almost too late. I'm like, couldn't you come like a month earlier or so? Right. So
there's something about it, right? That the more urgency, the more in trouble they feel, the more urgency there is to do something about it. So the message is, go do stuff sooner. Any stuff, just go do it now, right? And but that's not the reality, right? And because we know about the stages of change, people need to go through this.
I want to encourage everybody who's viewing here right now, if you are in a relationship right now where you feel you're struggling and you've tried everything and it's not going to get better, and you need new strategies and new insights and new tools, find a coach. And we have one of the best coaches here, Lana Gajic, who's also a best-selling author of the book. And I break up
to break through.
Break through, right? So
Yeah.
I always try to phrase that around. It's like break up to break through, right? Best-selling author, coach. Don't wait. Right? Rather have a conversation too early. Rather let Lana tell you know what, no need right now, right? You're cool, right? Or just do this one thing and you're good. But at least take action, because you cannot in those situations weasel yourself out.
Yeah, and healing is not passive, so you have to take action, and that's why time isn't something that heals all wounds, because to think that way is to think that I'm going to have to do nothing and it's just going to go away. You just don't focus on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have your website. We go to your website. Tell me your website address again.
Healmybreakup.com.
Breakup, right?
Yeah.
Healmybreakup.com. You can download for free her book, Break Up to Break Through. I got it now. And how do they get in touch with you? Do you have a strategy session? Do you have an application form? How does that work?
Yeah, there is a little link there. So the link they can click on and book a time to speak to me. And we do this one-on-one where I get together with them. And it's a free conversation. I want to know where they're at, what they're looking for, and what the next steps are for them. So, whether or not we end up working together, I'm going to make sure they have the resources that they need, because the point is to move people through the stages of change and to make sure they're not alone. And you made a really great point. Coaches are needed. We'll always have a job. And the reason is because research shows us that people, when they're witnessed in their pain and they're not alone again, that's the healing factor that you don't get if you're just reading a book. You have to be able to engage your emotions and your thinking at the same time. And a book often does one, or a lot of coaching programs just does the cognitive, right? Just change how you think and you'll change but that's 1/3 of the puzzle, right? You've got to be able to also target your emotions and body and your spirit. So, yeah.
Perfect. So what you're doing is so important. I wish you'd been around a decade or so ago. And it's needed. I think your services are needed now more than ever. And whoever who's watching, don't rely on a book. Get a warm body coach. Get Lana first. If she's too busy, which I know you are very busy. So, but if she cannot help, you will get other resources. I'm sure you'll be able to refer them to as well. But you will always be my first of contact, and also that contact that I would send my clients to, because you're doing such a great job. It's so important what you're doing, and
thank you.
Keep on doing it and show up and be there for people, and most importantly, stay amazing. Yes,
you as well. Thank you so much, Andrew. Appreciate the time.
You too. Bye.
All right. See you later.